sit up straight. Sit up straight. Posture. It's all about posture.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our last live stream of the week. My name is Louis, and I am the analyst for Center for Advising Career and Student Success. And today we're going to be talking for the second time about choosing classes if you're a freshman. And we have a different round of advisors to give you their perspective on it. Just some housekeeping stuff I want to get out of the way first. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can join our live chat. Just click on the box in the corner of your screen that says be a part of the conversation, and you can join our live QA. If you have any trouble with that, you can always just comment directly from the YouTube stream, and we can take your questions on the air. And with that said, I'm going to turn it over to our all-star crew, Jessica and Chrissy.
Thanks, Louie. So hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Pinales. I'm one of the advisors for psychology, computer science, and communication design.
And hi there, I'm Chrissy Lofgren. I am the other psych advisor. So we're going to talk about some different classes today for freshmen for your first semester. But first, I wanted to give a shout out to all of our graduating seniors out there that are just graduating high school. Last night I actually went out to dinner and I saw like Salinas High School had graduated yesterday and Notre Dame. So shout out to everybody that graduated this week. Congratulations to everybody all over that graduated. And welcome to the next chapter in your life, which is hopefully at CSUMB. So the first thing we should say is that it is not a one size fits all. There are all different majors out there, and so there are going to be some different classes, but there are some general ones that we're going to talk about. Jessica's going to talk about the first one, but so again, it's really important that you communicate with your advisor. We're going to be sending out some emails. Hopefully you've already gotten some emails from your advisor, and we really want to make sure that you're paying attention to those emails because that's going to tell you what classes you want to get into. So I will quickly say that if any of you have any AP scores, even if you don't know your score yet or if you pass the class, or if you have any classes that you're transferring in from a community college that perhaps you took during your time in high school, then that is something that you definitely want to talk to your advisor about because you will get college credit for those, and things might look a little different for you. So language is one of the biggest AP scores that we see along with like English, but there are all kinds of different AP scores, so make sure that you talk to your advisor about that.
Yeah, definitely. And for the AP scores, just to follow up, so you have to actually pass the test with a 3 or 4 to get credit for those. Some of them actually require a 4 to get the whole requirement. So like Chrissy said, just make sure you check in with your advisor and we'll kind of go through that with you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you all.
Jessica has to drive because I don't know how to drive her computer.
I thought I was sharing the screen and I wasn't, and it was just focusing on Jessica and Mindy just staring. So I apologize if anyone.
Which is why if we're just here smiling.
Like, what is he doing?
Technical difficulties. Okay, so right now I have the csumb.edu website up, so you'll become very familiar with the site. The tool we're going to use today is the web schedule, which we also did a webinar on this a few days ago. So at the very bottom of the screen you can find the class schedule. And it'll show you the most current, up-to-date list of the classes being offered for that upcoming semester. So we're looking at fall. The first class we want to talk about is FYS, which is first year seminar. So all freshmen that are coming in are required to take a first year seminar. And you can find what classes are being offered if you scroll down to the FYS. Here you'll find a list of all the classes that will meet that requirement. These are a kind of unique class because they will give you lots of tools and kind of strategies that you can use to be successful while you're in college. But they also meet a general education requirement, which you can see on the right-hand side. So this first one, which is Philosophy of Nonviolence, actually covers your C2 and it'll meet the FYS requirement. So you get to kind of pick which one you want. There are a few exceptions. If you are in a special program like EOP or camp or certain majors have specific ones they want you to take. Also, if you're in one of the living learning communities, you may actually be assigned to an FYS class. So keep an eye on your schedule. When you have access to your CMS account, if you see classes already in your schedule, that means you've been block enrolled and that whatever program you're a part of, they want you to be in a certain FYS class. So that's why that's in your shopping cart. You should also be getting emails about that too, so it shouldn't be a surprise to you. But for those of you who aren't in a special program, you get to kind of pick which one you'd like. And it's really important to keep an eye on the topic and also what GE it's covering, because it's going to be covering two different things, and you want to make sure you're using your time wisely here. So try to pick one that you haven't met a GE yet, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense.
So there's a lot of different options. They're offered at different times. You can always click on the class if one sounds interesting to you to see what it is about and get more information. But you want to make sure you have an FYS class. If not in your very first semester, definitely your second semester.
Cool. So let's move on to language. Language is probably, we get the most questions about language. So again, the first class we're recommending is FYS. The second class we want you to look into is language. Here at CSUMB, we do have a language requirement, and we require all students to get to the third level or the intermediate level, which here is 201 of a language, of a foreign language. So there are other ways to do this. Many of our students come in with AP scores of 4 or 5 on AP language. Some students actually may have taken, again, as I mentioned before, a community college class, and that will fulfill it. But if you want to go, we're going to the catalog to look at the language requirements, language proficiency. There it is. So there's a couple different things. We do have some, how to fulfill the language requirement, I kind of went over. You can start in 101 if you feel like, if you're starting a new language. Let's say that you took Spanish in high school and you're like, you know what, I want to try something different. Here we offer Spanish, we offer Italian, we offer Japanese, and we offer American Sign Language. So if you wanted to start something completely new, we would suggest that you start at the 101 level. But if you did language in high school, we'd probably suggest that you jump into 102. But we do have a test that you can take. And if you just go to where Jessica's at on the website, you can log into Webscape. The password is Otters1. It says it on the previous screen. So you just type in Otters1, and it will take you just through this little quiz. It doesn't mean anything to anyone but you. And at the end of it, it'll tell you if you're at the 100 level, the 200 level, the 300 level, or the 400 level. And that's how you'll know what class you should go into. So if it's 100, you should start in 101. If it's the 200 level, you should start in 102. If it's the 300 level, you should start in 201, and so on. And again, talk to your advisor. That's what we're here to help. So that's a really good tool, though, that you can see where you would place with the language proficiency.
Thank you, Chrissy.
You're welcome.
So I'm just going to kind of put a slide up here so you can kind of see what we're covering. The next kind of area we're going to talk about is other GE that you can take your first semester. So the most important one, or one of the most important ones, I should say, is your B4 math requirement. All college students are required to take a B4 class, and this can be very unique based on the major that you have. So some majors have recommendations, some have specific requirements that they want you to take a certain math class. So I know for psychology, we recommend our students take Stat 100. For computer science, we have our students take pre-calc. There's a list of different ones that you can take to meet this requirement. So the easiest way you can find out what math class is required for your major is by going to the catalog. And we can actually kind of show you where to look. We did do a webinar on the catalog also, but we can show you really quickly just kind of how to find it. So let's say you are a computer science student and you want to know what classes are required. So you can go to the class requirements. This one, the first class is Math 170, so that doesn't give you a really good idea of what class to start off with. But if you go to the course pathways and look for general freshman pathway, you'll see that they recommend you take Math 130 pre-calc. So this will give you a good idea of kind of what class to look for math, the B4 requirement. You'll also be getting emails, like we mentioned, from your advisor to kind of talk more about this and to give you specific information about your major. So you definitely want to do that your first semester if you can. The other one that we typically recommend is A1, or the first level writing requirement. So I'm going back to the schedule for that one. It's the very first one under the university requirements, A1, and if you click on it, it'll give you a list of everything that's being offered. This can sometimes also be specific for majors, so keep an eye on your emails, as like we said before. But there's a lot of different requirements. And these all meet the same A1, so you can kind of pick which one you'd like to take. So it's another good class to take. The only exception for the math and for the writing is if you need remediation, which Chrissy is actually going to talk about right now.
Let's talk about remediation. Okay, so if you
jump in real quick.
See how you are?
If you are joining us late, welcome to the stream. We've already covered, oh, perfect. How many units you should be taking, first year seminar, what that is, which one you should take. We covered language. If you have questions about any of those, there's a live chat that you can access straight from the YouTube page. Just click that box that says be a part of the conversation on the stream, and that'll take you to the live chat. You can ask questions there. You can also just ask the questions straight from the YouTube comment section. And we will take any and all of them on the air, even if they're a little bit off topic. We'll try to answer any questions you guys have. Okay, continue.
Okay, so I'll recap a little bit. We talked about some courses that we would like you to look for your first semester here at CSUMB. One thing I did skip over, we typically recommend 3 to 4 classes, which is 12 to 16 units. 3 to 4 classes will keep you on track to graduate in 4 years. So the first class we talked about taking is your first year seminar, your FYS class. That's required of all freshmen that are coming in with less than 30 units. And the language requirement, again, language requirement required of all freshmen that come here to CSUMB, and you need to get to the 201 or intermediate level. And then Jessica went over some important GE classes, which is your B4 mathematics, which is specific to your major. So you definitely want to check your course pathways or your catalog to make sure which B4 math class you need. And another area of GE she recommended was the A1, which is your first English class that you take care of. So let's say that you're not quite ready to go into the A1 class, you need a little bit of support. You're going to start, if we're talking about English, it would be your writing 95, depending on your test scores. And it will actually be showing up in your student center, so you'll know exactly what class you need to take. In the upper right-hand corner, which we might be able to show you, it will tell you if you need the writing 95. So then you would have to get into your writing 95 the first or second semester. We definitely recommend the first semester. We want you to take that. And if it is a math course that you need to take to get you a little bit of help, then depending on what your CMS Student Center says, it's either going to be Math 98 or Math 99. And these classes need to be done your first year. That's something that they don't mess around with here. So we want to make sure that you're in the right classes your first year and your first semester. So if you see that you have any remediation holds, that you need your writing 95 for English, you need your Math 98 or your Math 99, you want to make sure you're taking these classes your first year here. Just another reason that we really encourage you to check in with your advisor. And we have walk-ins the first 2 weeks of school. So any questions you have, if you can't get to us before then, we definitely want you to stop up to the library 3rd floor and come see us.
Hey, we got a quick question.
Yes. Let me unshare my screen.
Unshare.
Okay.
Meg is asking, how many classes should I take my first semester? Is 4 or 5 too many? She's a real go-getter.
So I'm going to say 5 is too many, but I'm always on the low end of things. I prefer that freshmen are comfortable their first semester. And we really want to make sure that you're successful your first semester here. So taking an abundance of courses might be not a good idea your first semester. So again, 3 classes is typically 12 units, and 4 classes is typically 16 units, and we like you to stay within the 12 to 16 unit range your first semester.
Yeah, and you really have to find what works better for you. Some students are working, some students want to be part of clubs or part of fraternity, sorority, so it's important to give yourself the time to do those different things. Don't overwhelm yourself with classes, and you have 4 years here, so there's plenty of time to take them.
Plenty of time.
Okay, thank you.
Good question, Meg. Good question.
Thank you, Meg.
Meg's one of our coworkers, if anyone's wondering why we're talking about that later. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay, so I just wanted to follow up with the remediation. If you have more questions about that, or you're still a little unsure if you need it, or if you don't need it, we are actually having a specific webinar live stream for that topic. It's going to be on June 1st at 10 a.m. So definitely tune in if you have any questions about that. We're going to be having some people that work on campus specifically with that program that can give you more information. So it'll be a good webinar to tune into.
And don't worry. There's a lot of these webinars that you can go back to, and you can get the information if you've missed anything. And again, I'm going to go back to the emails that your advisors are sending out and that our office is sending out, because we've been sending out a ton of emails. We just want to make sure whatever email you signed up to CSUMB with is the email that we're email blasting right now. But as of June 1st or June 2nd, you will be a matriculated student and you will have your CSUMB email account, and that's the one that we really encourage you to use. It's the official form of communication, so just make sure that you're in touch with us.
Definitely. Okay.
What else should we go over?
So we are going to share a screen again.
Yay.
Alrighty, so we kind of covered everything on our slide. Like we mentioned, the 4 kind of areas that you want to cover are your FYS. If you haven't done language and you need to work on that, get going with your language requirement. If you are ready for your B4, jump into a B4. If you need the remediation, jump into that remediation. A1 is the first English class that you'll take here. So those are kind of the main ones that we want you to focus on. But there are also options just in case you can't get into those classes or they don't work with your schedule. So all students are required to meet the university requirements, and this is on the right-hand side of the schedule. So you'll see they're all listed out for you.
I have to take all of those?
That's a good question. So some of them are kind of combined together, so you don't necessarily need to take all of them, but for the most part, you have to kind of cover them. So that's kind of a confusing answer, but we'll talk more about it when you meet with your advisor and when we make a learning plan for you. But there are some other areas that you can kind of look at for classes if you need to fill up your schedule. So we have C1 art classes that you'll need to take at least one. We have the humanities area that you'll take at least one class. You have social sciences, there's E area, health and well-being. So these are just some other GE areas that you can fill your first semester if you need help kind of filling in any gaps that you have. So we'll talk, like I said, a little more about that later on, and definitely connect with your advisor if you have any questions, and we'll also be sending more information for specific classes to take your first semester.
And don't get overwhelmed. We know that this is all new material for you, and once you meet with us and you get your first 2-year plan done, it will all start making sense. Kind of like when you register for your classes the first semester, it just starts clicking and it really becomes second nature, and you will be fine. And again, there's a ton of us up here to help you. We're here all summer long. So please, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a shout, come see us, email us. Or attend one of our call-in hours that we have. So we have several of those that we have going on. I believe we have one this afternoon from 1 to 4. So if you have a question this afternoon, if you don't want to ask it now, feel free to call in this afternoon when we have our call-in hours, and then we have a bunch next week starting Tuesday. They're giving us a day off Monday, so but starting Tuesday we'll have more call-in hours. And we have the open labs, which I don't know if we talked about those. Do you want to talk about that, Louie, or do you want us to do it?
You guys are on a roll. Keep going.
We are on a roll. On a roll.
So I did want to show you all our advising website, and you can actually find it from the schedule, or if you just type in advising up in the search box. So like Chrissy mentioned, we have a lot of different things coming up, and you can see that all on our website. If you scroll down a little bit, it breaks it down by month. So we're almost done with May, but there are a few more days. So you can see that we have a lot of things going on. We have live streams, and if you missed a live stream, you can always click on the link and it'll take you to the video and to our YouTube page. We have call-in hours, and it gives you the dates and times, and it gives you our number. You can also use this number to make an appointment with your advisor. So after June 1st, you will be a matriculated student at CSUMB, which means that we can access any kind of, if you have AP scores or if you have any kind of community college transfer credits, we can access those. So you can start making appointments with your advisors, I would say, after like the first week of June. That way we can kind of start talking about the specifics for your schedule and kind of make it a little more personalized.
Let me jump in and say, too, that if you are coming to orientation, we cannot meet with you that day for one-on-one advising. But let's say you're coming into town the day before and you wanted to meet with your advisor, that we can do. We will meet with you as a group on your orientation day, but we just can't do one-on-one advising or personal appointments on your orientation day, because you're really here for the orientation. We want you to get acclimated to campus. We want you to meet your cohort of students, learn about all the cool stuff that we have here at CSUMB, and then we'll deal with our stuff a different day. So.
Yeah, there's lots of time. Even if you're not local and you don't have time to meet with us over the summer, it's totally okay. We're available all during the fall semester, and for those of you who are going to be signed up for FYS, it's typically a requirement that you make a learning plan with your advisor. So there's lots of time to meet with us. It's not completely urgent. We'll definitely get you set up with your first semester at least, so you're ready to go for that, and then we can deal with the next few years later.
So it looks like the open labs start on June 3rd, which, scary enough, is next week already. And again, reiterate, if you are in SoCal or Northern California, 6 hours away, we're not encouraging you to drive up here for this. I would say it's mostly just for the local students that feel like they need some extra help. You are welcome to come, but there will be plenty of opportunity with webinars that you can watch how to add classes to your cart. But again, we're here all summer long for any help that you need.
I should also say, if you signed up for Open Labs, we're going to start sending out confirmation emails on Monday. So we know that we haven't sent anything out yet, but we also haven't reached capacity on any of them yet. So if you RSVP'd, you're going to get a spot. I wouldn't worry too much about it.
And they're just general labs. Again, they're not going to be personal one-on-one advising sessions. So we just want to make sure that we're clear on that. So if you want to meet with an advisor one-on-one, call the phone number that's down on the screen, and that way you can set up an appointment with your advisor.
Hey, we got one more question about everyone's favorite topic, early start.
Woohoo!
And Michaela, I'm going to premise this by saying that we do have an entire webinar regarding just early start and all the nuance of it, but our advisors know their way around this pretty well, so they can give it a shot. She is asking, when it comes to early start, both English and math, how does that exactly play into what English and math courses you take freshman year?
So if you are required to do early start and you take it depends on a couple things. There are some classes that will meet your remediation requirement, but for the most part, if you're taking a 1 or a 2 unit class at, say, CSU San Marcos, that's not going to clear the remediation, but it will clear your early start. This is a confusing subject, but just know that if you have a Writing 95 or a Math 98 or a Math 99 hold on your CMS account, those are the classes that we want you to be in fall. And again, please double check with your advisor, because we want to make sure you're in the right classes. If you're conditional, this is a whole nother topic, but if you're conditional, meaning that you're just waiting till your grades post to see if you need something or not, then we'll make adjustments for you. But if it says Writing 95, and when you register for classes for fall, we want you in Writing 95. So, and I do encourage you to tune into the early start webinar, because we have the experts in the field that are going to be talking about that. And they can help guide you as far as the summer courses, if that was more of a general question. If your question again was for fall, then right now, if you need the Writing 95, Math 98, Math 99, those are the classes that we want you in for fall.
Awesome. Okay, if you're watching this and you want to sneak in a last question on the YouTube comments or on the live chat, go ahead and get it in. Anything else you ladies want to say to wrap up?
Yeah, the last thing I just wanted to mention was we've been talking a lot about talk with your advisor, and if you don't quite know who your advisor is, you can actually find that on our website. So we have a Meet the Staff link. If you click there, you will see who's my advisor.
Who is my advisor, Jessica?
Question. And you'll see that we have the advisor's information. We have where they're located. We have the major that they advise for. So you can see all of that information. See, there's Chrissy there. And if you're not quite sure where to find something, it does have a little map for you, but you can actually click on the link for the building and it'll tell you specifically where that is on campus. Most of us are located in the library, so it shouldn't be too hard for you, but some like our science advisors are in the science building and things like that. So it'll give you that information on the website.
Good info.
I think that's about all I have.
No more questions?
Nope. I think we are good. So this is going to be saved. You can watch the replay later. Also, we had another live stream that was talking about the same subject. So you can watch them both, and we had different advisors and different questions. We have call-in hours this afternoon between, I think, 1 and 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can call in anytime during that, and you can speak with Chrissy, Jessica, or one of our other advisors. And then next week is a really big week. Next week you'll be able to start loading stuff in your shopping cart. It's not going to happen on Monday. It'll probably happen closer to Friday. We always like to ask to give us a couple days in case there's any problems on the registrar's office's end. But yeah, by the end of the week, you should be able to start putting courses in your shopping cart. And then you've done like 90% of the work. You just have to come back on your registration day and click that button that says enroll.
Nice. Good.
Okay, thank you ladies very much, and we will see you guys next week. No webinar on Monday, but we will resume again on Tuesday for a transfer student one, and then keep going.
Thanks, Lane. Thank everyone.
Thank you.
Bye everyone.